Cracking, guys? Welcome back to Clash with Barndo. Tonight I'm going to go through a war recap, our war win 175 versus an international clan crossover, only a level 7 clan. 80 to 66, you can see near 90% destruction for us. Pretty good war. We did have 10 town hall, 10 bases, and 11s of course, and they had the 13, so we're a little bit down on bases, but they did have a few rush bases and things like that, and you can see they struggled to get 2 stars on most of our guys. On our 10s, they missed 9s and missed a couple of 8s as well, so not an overall great war. You can see I think they're probably just a little bit less strenuous sort of war, which is cool. For us though, we had some pretty big attacks. We had some good percentage attacks as well. So you see the 74, 73, 78. That was on their 3 of their top 4 bases. Then we had a 95 there. Dion ran out of time. That was a Town Hall 11. And what was cool about this base was we actually attacked this with 2 of our Town Hall 9s. They did 2 walks. And then Dion tried to replicate the walk and came really close. He did have trouble with his queen pathing. Wall breakers didn't open up what he needed, so very unlucky there. And I think there's a big one from Shine as well, 78 on their number 8 as well. So we'll start up with Barndo 80's attack on their number 9. Not a huge base, but still it was a first attack, 3-star, and that's always nice to happen. So you can see he had the 2 different Infernos. So I've gone in with a Queen walk, 4 healers from the top. And before checking the base, I knew that the Queen would aggravate the clan castle and draw that out, and going off most of their other bases, I did expect it to be a hound, although if it was a dragon, the poison would make no real difference. So you see I dropped down 2 loons. That was mainly to get that cannon down. I didn't really need 2. I probably could have used some minions instead, all of those kinds of things, but at the same time I didn't want to have a cannon shooting me with a potential loon possibly dropping a load or anything like that. So you know, for a very small cost of 2 loons, it helped get rid of that at the start. Second part of the raid was obviously GoWiWi, and yeah, it worked pretty well. No major dramas. It pretty much smashed up the base. Didn't get the wall breakers to open what I wanted. You see them going off in all different places there, so they didn't really do much. So in the end I had to use the jump to get in the main base. So it was good though. The Queen's still pew-pewing away over on the left-hand side there. She kept the healers. That was what I was hoping would happen. And now she'll start to shoot to go in the middle, but it doesn't matter too much. I did use the ability early to save the 2 rage for the midfield group. That was intentional. That was what I was hoping would happen. So pretty stock standard base this one. Yeah, lower defences. He did have some Town Hall 10 defences, but these are the kinds of bases that as a Town Hall 11 near max, you've got to be able to smash out quite easily. That was pretty much it. As you see, lots of life on all the heroes, lots of units left. That's pretty close to what I use as a farm army at the moment. So it's funny, as you change your farming strategies, you sort of become more comfortable using them in wars at the same time. So a similar sort of a base structure, and JDam's gone in with a Queen walk with a LavaLoon tail, which is really interesting because JDam's normally one of our solid 2-star attackers. He'll hit pretty much any base for 2, and it's nice that he's come out with a 3-star, gets to make the highlight reel. But a really, really well ran Queen walk. You see the rage come out at a good time, and you'll see a wizard go to that top left hand archer tower there, just the one. That's to stop, same thing I sort of did in my previous attack on number 9, just to relieve that pressure and not hassle him whilst he's going to have a hound, loon, the hound split. You don't want defences shooting you at the same time. And the wizard gets another building down too, so it's always nice. Great patience with his queen there. Didn't use his ability, would have been pretty close to it. So I wasn't sure what he was going to go for with his wall breakers there, because I watched this live, and what was interesting was he did the open at the top there, you see that, then he did the open down the bottom. That's to give the queen an exit. So he's done that really well, and he was very unlucky to lose one of his healers to that expo in the end. It will die, but he possibly could have gone a touch lower or even avoided that rage. He didn't desperately need it at the time. But so he's only lost the one healer, so that was a good little exchange. And he's realised at this stage, oh shit, I've only got 2 wall breakers left. So he did a really good reaction where he's used his Barbarian King. And the remaining 2, you can see an early rage there. So that's allowed him to get that door open for that queen, to get that extra air defence down, but also to keep the healers up. So he's only got 2 healers left out of the initial 4. Probably a little bit stacked on the loons at the start, but he's got plenty of spells. Finally got his max freeze. Great freeze there. 2 Infernos. 2 Teslas. The timing's near perfect, so his king's staying alive. Absolutely smashed this base. And that as well, that was a first attack versus the base. So there was no opens, there was no knowing what was where or having any of the trap locations, anything like that. Just gone in with a good solid queen walk and a LavaLoon tail. Well, I was going to show, that was a hit from Clan Mascot, no real need showing that. We'll show a host attack on their bottom Town Hall 10. It's only level 1 multi, level 2 multi. Probably a touch early on his jump there. Really you want to make sure when your golems go down, then your wizzies go to herd, so that the golems aren't too far in front and half dead. So you can see there at a 3rd life, and he's only just moving his heroes and stuff into it. Poison was well timed. King's pushing up into enemy queen now. It's only a low level queen. Yeah, queen's down, Inferno's down, first air defence is down. That's a fairly good changeover, because he's going to get this second air defence as well. So that's brilliant. That's exactly what you want as a changeover. Then the queen gets a bit stuck on that clan castle. Pops her. Stuck on the bloody town hall. Couldn't pick any higher buildings, high hit point buildings. But there you go. He gets that blower as well, which is nice. And that archer tower. The only thing with this, watching the raid, 4 Infernos to get down for 2 air defences and 4 hounds, and that's to go through 2 air defences and 1 Inferno. It's only a level 1 Inferno, so it's not going to do huge damage to his loons, and he didn't really spread those hounds out to get many of the traps. So, you know, like all hindsight, all these things, I think 1 less hound would have definitely been better, and if he had a couple minions extra and another 4 loons, would have made this, you know, from an attack that he's already smashed the base, but he came very close to time. And unfortunately, it was a couple of loons that tripped those heat seekers at the end there, and he did fail to see that Tesla on the replay. So that should have definitely been killed. If that had been killed, he would have saved a good 20 seconds, because his loons would have been over at those storages and had them dead straight away. So good raid off. It's nice to have our Town Hall 10s 3-starring as well as our 11s. And I want to show now DTN's attack on their number 14. This was a pretty good attack. He's gone in without any poisons. This was a first hit on the base. He's gone in with an earthquake, shattered, stoned. I think it was a stoned GoHog. Sorry, I went a bit quiet, just having a look at our next war just queued up. So you see a good split on the golems to start off with. Good delay on his king. That's a really important part of these raids. Oh no, witches in the clan castles. They must have been match level. Oh no, they were his own personal ones. So yeah, definitely a stone GoHog. Great open with the earthquakes there. As expected, the giant bombs were meant to be beside those expos. It seems to be more and more common. So you see there, one's been tripped, that gets rid of that double, another's been tripped. So he knows he's pretty right on his hogs now to do whatever he wants. There's not much is going to stop him. He's got 18, I think it was, hogs, 2 heals. As a recommendation to people, I don't really say it too often, but when you're putting your giant bombs next to buildings, it's kind of expected that they go next to expos. So sometimes it's good to mix it up. Don't just do generic bases. Change them up, change some traps. A little bit stacked with his hogs. He could have risked a lot of those to spring traps. But yeah, absolutely smashed it. No wizzies for cleanup. So that's a bit of a missed sight, I guess. He definitely could have afforded to have gone less hogs. As you see on the replay, he's got an absolute shitload left. So maybe if you had have dropped 1 or 2 hogs and just kept those 1 or 2 wizzies. Good raid, DTN. Next raid I'll show, just something a bit different, is Barndo 82. This is a Queen Walk with a Shattered GoHog. Now, Red did an attack on this base with a Queen Walk, so I did have a different walk in mind, but in the end I thought, yeah, that's not bloody bad, and I've just gone with it and modified it slightly. So you start off with your 4 healers on the Queen, those minions just to herd the sides there so the Queen goes the direction I wanted to go. I did know that the giant bombs were next to the expos on this base, and I know he had at least 1 skeleton trap on that top one. I was tempted to almost send the Queen inside that section of the base, but by sending her around the top left hand side there, you know that she's going to kill that wizard tower. She's actually going to kill that expo as well. So that means that your hogs are going to completely bypass that stage. So that's going to take that set of giant bombs completely out of play. Now this is where I stuffed up and the raid went a little bit awry for me. Because that wizard went down just that touch too late. I maybe could have used minions, might have been a bit smarter. I could have started it much earlier on the herding, but then the Queen's walked. It's caused me to use my other 2 wall breakers and pop down that rage. I needed that Queen to really get through and kill things quickly so I didn't lose all my healers. So a hog goes in, that's to draw the clan castle. Good time to draw the clan castle because there's only going to be the 1 arch tower left shooting. And I mean, while the Queen's tanking that, that's why I thought I'd stuff it. It's a good time. Let's get my ground out and get rid of that archer tower. Now I'd used all my wall breakers at that stage, so I had to get them in. Good spot for an earthquake there. Unfortunately, I put my king down just that touch too late and he went walking. Wasn't a good enough herd. So yeah, two groups of skeletons on a golem's a good situation there because the golem split's going to get rid of those. Now I've elected to go that rage. You see the rage there, that was to try and push that king in there as quickly as possible. Get those golems up. Get that king doing damage because I needed that king to push up. Lucky though, the queen on queen over there. And then I've gone in with my hogs. I did only have the one heal. That was intentional. And you see I've held on to 3 hogs. I knew my time was getting quite close to the clock there. So I didn't need to use all of my hogs. So quite simply I've just kept them to help out on trash building once the last defence was down, of course. And that was it. So it's a good fun raid. It's always nice to use someone's previous attack, just modify it slightly and get it out. And I'll show one more. I'll just show one of our Town Hall 8 attacks. This was said, so he's gone in with a Lightning Rage combo, Clan Castle Loons, Clan Castle Haste. It's become one of our standard Dragon raids, this one, for spell combos with the new changes. Bit of a sacrifice off his king there to run that out. And you'll see very shortly that second air defence starts shooting. So that's when he starts popping out his loons. Now he's used one quick loon to start off with. That's hoping to get the balloons. You can see they did draw the one red loon. And then those Clan Castle balloons and the other loons, they've just absolutely ripped this base to shreds. Good split on his loons. He was lucky with that. That's it. Dragons will do their things. So, good war. Quite convincing for us. It was nice to get a few 3 stars on their 11, on their 10s I should say. So we did get the 4 3 stars there. So we're starting to get more consistent with those in our clan. But it's nice, you know, we need to watch a few more combos. Like I said, the witch combo seems to be becoming more popular where people are using up to 20 witches. Bit of a spam fest, but look, they're kind of a solid attack. They're sometimes returning at least the 2 stars and then pushing for 3. So, yeah, but otherwise, as always, I hope I've helped and clash on.